Happy vibes, my friends. Welcome back to my podcast, Vibes by Alicia, where I believe in spreading killer vibes to light you up and give you that kick in the ass to craft the life you wish to live. This sacred space is dedicated to the lovers of all things business, travel, and lifestyle. Hey, it's about time you get the scoop on the latest vibes, so let's get to it. Today, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, and one of the topics for the podcast is travel. We've been traveling maybe 20 years, I think 20, 21 years now. And so for today, I invited my favorite travel buddy, Rusk.
Hello. Thanks for having me back.
You're my favorite and my only, maybe.
I hope I'm your only travel buddy.
Oh, yeah. So
It's actually been 23 years.
23?
Yeah, when we first started.
See, your memory is so good.
Right.
That's why this episode is so good for you, because you really kind of hold things in there really well.
Well,
I think you capture moments.
We had taken our first trip together in New York. We weren't married yet.
Yeah.
And
we were dating 1 year.
Your semi-traditional father let us go. I think he just trusted me in such a way where he thought this was going to be okay.
You know why he let me go? Because I had just graduated from college.
Oh, there you go.
That was his
right.
His marker. Yeah, that was his marker. If you go to college, you finish college, you do whatever the hell you want to do. But he liked you a lot too.
Right. That was a good expectation.
Yeah. He's always liked you from the very beginning. Since he met you that day when you met me. Yeah. He's like, that's the guy. That's the guy. I know it. I feel it. He told me. I feel it in my heart. My dad's too funny. So today we're going to do like a little bit of a rapid fire travel question.
Okay.
We're titling this 29 questions to ask those who are obsessed with travel and learn their tricks. We're going to give them some tricks.
Well,
Trick or treat.
I think we're qualified.
Trick or treat.
I think after almost 2.5 decades of traveling all over the world, literally all over the world.
Literally.
I think we have a little bit of credit.
Yeah, I think we touched upon almost every continent except Australia. It's the only one that we haven't touched upon. All right, are you ready?
Of course, I'm always ready.
Okay. So,
the wine's flowing.
Yeah. So tell everybody what you're drinking today, by the way, because for sure, everybody needs to know. Russ just completed his WSET 3. Yes. It's a level for wine school.
Right. It's an academic track. It's not the sommelier track. It's the same thing as a sommelier, except there is no service component in this track. So, and the level 3 is equivalent to a certified wine sommelier level 2. So most of the sommeliers you come across in the restaurant are level 1, so this is level 2. It's a little bit step higher. And then sometimes when you go to some of the more bougie restaurants, you see the advanced or the masters. That'd be like level 4, level 5. But I'll get there one day. It's a lot of study. It took 2 years to get to level 3.
Yeah, so proud of you.
A lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Put on a few pounds drinking it, but at the end it was worth it.
We researched, remember?
Yeah,
we did research.
Right. Well, you like to be a little more diplomatic about that from a girl's standpoint.
You drink. Yeah, we drank.
But there's a lot of studies. There's a lot of books, a lot of magazines, a lot of podcasts, a lot of reading about different wines from different parts of the world. Not only the grapes, but the winemaking process.
Yeah.
And what's great from wherever else you drink. So.
And I think you immersed yourself in learning for at least 7 months of nothing but every single day, studying, taking quizzes, listening to podcasts.
In the car, driving
all day, every day. And I remember coming into your car knowing we were going to listen to another wine podcast.
Yeah. That's how you pass.
I think I could take the test now.
What's that stuff called? Osmosis.
Yeah, right. By osmosis. All right. So we've got the wine. Oh, tell us what the wine is, though. You didn't tell us what it is.
So we are drinking a Railsback Frey. It's spelled F-R-E-R-E-S. It's from Central Coast, California. It's a 2017. It's 100% Syrah, and it's a good medium body. It's a good red wine. It's a patio pounder for maybe a good light fall day, as much of a patio pounder as red wine could possibly be. It does not have a lot of oak or acid in it for those people who don't like highly acidic wines.
It's
wines
not. It's
oaky.
really nice.
It's a lot of red fruit, a lot of black fruit in it. And the young wines, 2017, from that part of the country. California is known to let the wines age for many years. Mm-hmm. So if you want something light and refreshing and good quality with a lot of good fruit flavors without the herbaceous flavors. A lot of people don't like green bell peppers.
I love this. Yeah.
A lot of forest floor, earth mushrooms, all that kind of stuff. So this is the wine to go for. And you can get it at Houston Wine Merchant on Shepherd and Westheimer. It's $40. and you can ask for Antonio. They always have it, or you can go see my mentor, Brandon Kern, who's now a master sommelier.
I'm so proud
at
of
the
him.
Texas Wine School. They sell it there too for maybe $1 or $2 less.
I
It's
love
a little
that.
bit harder to get in and out of that place. So
Yeah.
Brandon Kern at Texas Wine School, or Antonio Gianola at Houston Wine Merchant.
Love it. Yeah, those are our favorite places,
Right.
and they always do really well. They always recommend the best stuff, and this is really good. You've just become so good at picking up wines, and I'm the kind of person that only drinks red when it's fall and winter.
Yes,
like
right.
I don't drink red in the spring and the summer.
And you like to drown the white wines in the summer.
Rosé all day.
Rosé all day.
Rosé all day.
I like to look for those margaritas too.
Oh, yes. All right, so here we go. Rapid fire. You're going to answer. We're going to go quick, and we're going to do just some quick answers. We're not going to go into too much detail. If we feel like we need a lot of more detail, we will. But most of these are just 29 questions to ask those who are obsessed with travel and learn some of their tricks.
Hey.
All right. Okay, number one. What would you say to someone who has never been out of their hometown? What would you say to someone who has never been out of their hometown? Some of them, we've met them, simple. And some people just don't want to go anywhere because I'm like, I don't know.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And once you do it, you'll never want to go back to your hometown. There's a whole world out there to see, and it's not as alienating or as awkward or as culturally different. They like Americans all over the world. Most places speak Spanish. English. The wine's getting to me.
Yeah.
English everywhere. They like American dollars. They like tourism. There's a whole world out there to see. It's not that hard to get places. A lot of nonstop flights out of Houston to get you to Europe, to South America, to Asia. They're easy in and out. A lot of places you don't have to have a visa. It's
I love
just
that.
like going to Mexico. Real easy.
Yeah, and I would just say, give yourself that chance to try it 1 or 2 times. If you decide definitely this is not for me, at least you give it a shot.
Right, absolutely.
And maybe not even go so far. Just leave your hometown and maybe go somewhere close by, but try something different, try something new. Like we're in Texas. I would say if you're in Houston, try going to like San Antonio, or not even San Antonio. I would say like Enchanted Rock is really cool, very different. Go to Fredericksburg.
Sure. But if you want to get outside of Texas,
go to
New York, go to California, go to Florida. Those are all great touristic places.
And you're not going that far, right. Yeah.
But I was talking mostly on the international.
Yeah,
because, Mexico to me.
Because some people are very scared of just even their own.
Right, but it's
country.
It's nothing to be scared of. The media always overhypes everything, especially when it comes to any kind of protest or terrorist activity. It's always less than what the media, who is in the business of sensationalism, likes to portray. We've been there.
They always do that.
They always do that. And it's never as bad as what it's actually portrayed in the news.
It never is. It never is. They just love to hype it up. Okay, number 2. How many different countries have you visited? I think we visited over 120, 130 countries.
I think our last count was about
120, something like that. Who is your favorite travel buddy?
Well, of course you.
Yeah, you are mine.
I hope there are no other travel buddies.
You know what though? My mom told me when we first got together that if we traveled well together, we were going to be a good couple.
Yes.
She said that, and she's right, because the first experience when we went traveling, we did it did we do it ourselves?
Yeah.
But we managed it, and we didn't get angry at each other. We didn't get frustrated with each other. We explored together. We picked restaurants together.
Yes.
You told me, let's get on the bus, let's get on the subway. Right. I got on the bus and I didn't complain. I mean, there was so much that we could have gotten upset about on that first trip because there was so much stuff we didn't know.
Right, sure.
But it worked out.
Well, that's the cool thing about traveling, is it's the unknown, right? You're venturing into the unknown. And that's why I don't like going to places really twice, because then it's known. The unknown is the intrigue, the mystery, the allure of getting to visit a place, a different culture, and not knowing what you're getting into. And as a couple, if you can take that head on and then make that work, then you know that the rest of your marriage or your relationship will pretty much work out, because that's unknown. And if you can attack that the same way, then I think that it's a good sign that things will work out.
Yeah, because I think negotiation comes in when you travel, making sacrifices for each other. Sometimes you don't want to do something and I really want to do something. activities that we do together. Most of the time we agree on them, but there's times when I want to do some shopping at the markets and do some of those artisan stuff and just like do that in boutiques. And you and the boys are like, oh, here we go. We're going to go shopping with mom. But you guys do it for me. So there's a lot of compromising that happens in travel, and the travel buddy does that for you. Yeah, you have to. All right. What is the most beautiful beach you have ever set foot on?
You go first.
For me, it's Punta Mita for sure.
Punta Mita.
And the Dominican Republic have beautiful beaches.
You know what? That's a tough one because, you know.
The other beach that I always think about too, and I think how beautiful it was in Turkey.
Yeah. The Black Sea.
The Black Sea.
Right. Those, I was going to say the Black Sea, but I think I'll throw that Turks and Caicos out there.
Yes.
It was nice. Because
Turks
that was a typical Caribbean, clear water, blue, white sands. It was, the beach was pristine. It was immaculate. It was the right temperature, all of it. But you know what? That Black Sea in Turkey, outside of Istanbul, just north of Kirios, I think was the name of the town.
Right.
That was an interesting experience because just on the other side of the border was Russia.
I know. And you could see the oil tanks right off the horizon. Another beach that's really pretty fantastic is not Tulum, Holbox.
Yes, right in that Caribbean.
Yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What is the most enlightening thing your travels have taught you?
I would just like to go back to that beach real quick.
Okay.
I think there's one beach destination I would like to make it to one day, but it's so far. I have a hard time wrapping
I know
my
which
head
one you're going to say because you've been mentioning this for years.
I have to wrap my head around the travel this far just to get to the beach. But I get a lot of travel publications I follow, so I get a lot of this feedback and information. It's the Maldives, and you literally have to fly to Europe and then you have to make a stop in India, so it's like almost 3 plane changes. There may be a nonstop from Europe now to the Maldives, but it's really far just to get to a beach. But just those over the water bungalows. And this is a country that's probably sinking in the next 10 or 15 years because of the rising sea levels and all that. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've been reading. But I think that may happen one day. And our boys who have now started, they're at that age where they don't want to travel with their parents anymore. Yeah. But I think I may get them to come back with us on that particular trip.
I think
Sorry,
so.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. And our boys have been traveling with us since they were 3 years old. People always ask me that question. How old were they when they started traveling with you guys? 3 years, because they were potty trained and they were off bottles. Yay. Okay. What is the most enlightening thing your travels have taught you? Trying to think of that one because there's so many enlightening things I've learned.
Well, traveling to me is a window and a mirror at the same time. And I've said this many times. You by window, you look into another culture, another way of life, a different history. And it's a mirror at the same time is that what you learn from looking into that window, you come back. And sometimes if it's enlightening enough or the perspective is strong enough, you get to make adjustments in your life for all the stresses that you have or the Western way of life, the demanding schedules and always on the
timelines
and how other people in other cultures around the world succeed with so much less. And we're constantly griping because we want so much more. It's like the Dalai Lama has said once that I had read. He said that you spend half a lifetime making money, then you spend the second half of your life using that money to cure all your ailments for all the stress that you've incurred.
Making that money.
Right?
Yeah.
You never get to enjoy life.
Yeah, we've heard that one a few times. I know. I'm just thinking about, for me, it just shows me that we're not alone, that everybody's facing challenges in the world. Everybody has things that they're going through, that you're not just, it gives you perspective. It gives you perspective on your life and how grateful we are for what we have, what we learn. We're always able to come back to the United States and be, free of thought, free process, free, press. Those things are just something that you realize when you're in other countries that they don't have that. When we were in China, we couldn't even access our internet.
Right.
In Beijing, right.
Once you got to the seat of government,
it just teaches you perspective, I think, for me, and humility.
You were able to access it.
Yep, for sure. What's the best souvenir you have ever purchased?
Ooh, I like the. You know what? I'm actually going to bring that back to the United States, even though it's been around the world. I'm going to roll with the Andrea Stella paintings we bought in New Orleans. That was one of our first purchases from traveling, and we had seen that in 2000 when we went to New Orleans, and we liked the paintings.
Yeah.
We didn't buy them, and then a whole entire year went by.
We talked about those paintings.
It was Memorial. I'm sorry, we went in '99, and then Memorial Day weekend of 2000, we had jumped on a Southwest flight, and I don't like Southwest Airlines. I'm a United Continental guy. One, because Southwest doesn't travel everywhere. Number two, I don't like the lack of organization of not finding where your seat is. I think that's all. It's just
yeah, you don't like
it
that.
Doesn't do well with my mental hardwiring. But we had jumped on a Southwest flight, went to the gallery. This was before the internet took off, so you really can't order stuff online. This is 2000, and bought the paintings and literally had lunch in New Orleans and came back the next day.
I remember that. That was a really cool purchase. But I remember thinking about it, and after that, we kind of made a mental note that if we liked something and it was something that was powerful for both of us, we were going to get it. We weren't going to wait. We were going to do it. We were going to get it. And so now we have like a nice collection of art. Now every time we see art, we can't buy it because we have too much already. That's.
Well, what is it for you?
But another souvenir that I think was just the stuff we brought back from India. All the jewelry I bought in India, which was fantastic. I think the earrings I got in India. The
rug in the dining room.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was handmade.
Just all the things we got in India, I think to me were just spectacular in terms of artistic value.
I think it took up about 10% of our space in our house. The stuff that we had brought back from India.
I think so. Yeah. But I don't think anything compares to that.
We had brought back that lapis lazuli stone that's now hanging on our wall that lights up at night. And also the pink stone. I've got memories lapsed.
Is it granite? No,
it was granite, I believe. They're both lit up by these nice little light fixtures that our electrician did put together.
So beautiful. Right. Where's your dream vacation spot? I always say dream vacation for me is always going back to Punta Mita, Mexico.
You're more of a loyalist. You like to go back and do the same thing over. You're the queen of reruns, like I like to say. So
I don't like change. I like routine.
That's the one thing that we've always compromised on. I always like to go somewhere else. But the dream spot for me is doing the Ice Hotel in Norway or Sweden, right above the Arctic Circle, and where you can see the Northern Lights, the Aurelis Borealis. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. And I know that's probably not exactly your cup of tea because it's cold and freezing.
Yeah.
And you really have to take reindeers from the airport to the little resort, the location.
I have to take a ton of clothes to layer up.
Sleep on a layer of ice with a old sheepskin, what are those blankets?
No, I know what my dream spot is. Okay, keep going. Yeah, yeah.
That's my dream spot.
I would go back to the yacht in Greece.
Yes,
I would definitely continue yachting in Greece. I would definitely be very J-Lo and go on a yacht in Greece. Yeah. That's bougie for me. That's my dream spot.
Yeah, that was definitely cool too.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. No, but Iceland, I guess it's gonna have. What is it? Iceland or Norway? Norway.
They have them in both places.
Oh my gosh.
This is further north than Iceland. This is at the very tip of those two Scandinavian countries.
What is the longest road trip you have ever taken?
Oh, that's easy.
Croatia. How many?
That was 1,600 miles.
1,600 miles.
That was over 7 days, 4 countries, 12 cities, 7 hotels, 2 parks. We were in the car the entire time. We started in Slovenia, went to Croatia, Bosnia, and Montenegro. And we were just jumping around from hotel to hotel. We saw some amazing geography. We saw some amazing people. When you start in Slovenia, by the time you get to Montenegro, it's almost 2 worlds apart, even though they're only 700 or 800 miles apart.
Yeah.
Languages are different. The accents are different. I speak Czech, so Yugoslavian, Slovenian is very similar to Czech. I understood about half of what they were saying out there, but definitely 1,600 miles.
I love that. Yep. What's the longest plane ride you've ever been on?
That was Dubai.
That was to Dubai. He said to Dubai. How many hours?
16.
Where is the most romantic place you have ever visited?
I would say in Cappadocia.
Oh,
when we had we had stayed at a cave resort, literally in a mountain. There were cave hotels in Cappadocia, central Turkey.
Love that.
And that's old Greek history out there, even though it's Turkey. And they had taken us to the hotel, had taken us the little excursion tour on the hills of a little plateau, and we were able to watch the sunset and drink local Turkish wine.
I always think about that too.
Yeah.
It's interesting how you remember that one too as the most romantic. I thought it was the most romantic too.
Definitely. I think we have pictures of it everywhere.
I love it. That was one of my most.
You have to dust off those books.
I know. What is one travel horror story? Oh, this is question number 11. I haven't even told everybody the questions we're on. All right, question 11. What is one travel horror story?
The worst horror story I would probably that comes to my mind was Egypt. Even though Egypt's a fascinating place, and for those that haven't been, the pyramids are not nearly as fascinating as you're led to believe. They're amazing, but they predate the height of Egyptian history by 1,200 years. Once you get down to Luxor and to Abu Simbel, that's the height of Egyptian history. The architecture, the ruins, and the tours out there are definitely much more in depth. So in terms of horror story, if you look up Abu Simbel, which is close to the Sudanese border, we had to take a flight from Abu Simbel back to Aswan in order to cross over the dam in Aswan to Cairo to catch a flight back to the States. And in the process, in Abu Simbel, a dust storm had come through. So there's only one plane. You're literally in the middle of nowhere. You're in a part of Egypt that doesn't really speak Arabic. They speak Nubian. It's a subculture and a sub-race that lives in Egypt that really has bled through from Sudan. And there's really nothing out there. There's no stores, there's no hotels. You're going there just for one ruin, King Pharaoh Ramses II, this structure to prevent the Nubians back in his time. And you go there, look at the structure, you get back to the airport, and we're getting on the plane, and then a dust storm comes through, and the pilot says, we're not going anywhere to the dust storm. So none of us, even if you're in Texas, even if you're in Houston, how long does this dust storm last?
Yeah.
And he says, well, it could be 2 hours, it could be 6 hours, it could be 12 hours.
Yeah, they didn't give us a time.
We don't know. I mean, it's not a radar like a Doppler radar where you can see a storm coming. It all depends on when the winds. So we decided, Alicia and I, with this, we were in a larger tour group, and we broke off. And half the tour group had stayed at the hotel, at the airport in Abu Simbel, and half of us decided to rent a car.
Oh my goodness.
From a local driver that spoke no English. Ooh. And yes, I am Syrian, but I don't speak Arabic. And we decided to go with this Cuban artist and his wife, and we got in this car, and we drove from Abu Simbel to Aswan 3 hours through in the middle of July in the desert. We saw dead camels on the road, and this guy was driving in third gear, going 60 miles an hour, maybe up to 70 miles an hour. I kept trying to tell him, you're going to overheat your car. But we made it. And it was one of the scariest experiences we had. We didn't have Max yet. We only had Alex.
We did have Max, but he was
that's right. He was back home.
At
right?
home. Yeah, he didn't come to the trip with us. He didn't come to the trip,
but Alex was with us on the trip. And you look left and you look right, and it was just miles and miles of desert. You were in the middle of absolutely nowhere. So finally we get to Aswan, and then finally the rest of the tour group catches up with us. They finally get on that plane. They land in Aswan. We get there. We all board the plane to Cairo from Aswan, and the pilot gets on, and our plane has a flat tire. So we all have to get off the plane. And so, but in the United States, when you've had a flat tire, 30, 45 minutes, the tire's changed on the plane, and you're off. So everybody asks, how long does it take? Well, we don't know. We're out here in the middle of nowhere. We don't know if we have a tire. We have to go look. This is not the American way. And it's not the way that we're used to, that we're spoiled.
Definitely not the way we were used to.
And so.
No AAA. What is that called? AAA?
And this is 2009. At least I didn't have iPhones back then. And
2010.
2010, right? Yeah. And international communication was a little sketchy. The tour company gives you this makeshift phone just to get by, and I'm calling the travel agency. I said, listen, we're having problems out here, but we're 7-8 hours ahead, so it's still nighttime. I had to call my father, just kind of give him a heads up. It's it's looking sketchy out here. We don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. And finally, they changed their plane. They changed the tire, got on the plane, and finally made it to Cairo. But we're supposed to have one day left in Cairo, a nice little relaxation after very hot and kind of rugged trip.
Intense. It was intense. Right. No, and then I also remember being on the plane waiting for takeoff, and the sandstorm was so intense that our plane was going side to side, right. And we were like in the plane, looking at it, feeling ourselves like moving, swaying. It was like flying through sand. You don't know, like you've been through some thunderstorms, but a sandstorm is completely different. It feels very different. There's a lot of wind. There's a lot of sand everywhere. And we were stranded in a tiny little airport. Not an airport from a big city. It was a tiny little airport. There was no food, no drink, nothing. It was just you get on the plane and you go.
They have snack machines at the airport. That's
it was scary. I didn't think we were coming back from that.
But we made it. We got to Cairo. We picked up our luggage. We went to the hotel for literally 2 hours. We caught some sleep. We were woken up by the staff at the hotel and got on the plane back to Houston.
I don't know how we made it, but we made it. What was the most expensive trip you ever taken?
Oh, that was China.
China. We did how many days in China?
We did 8 days in China. It was for my 40th birthday.
40th birthday, 2017.
There was a dinner on the Great Wall in Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong. We got to meet some amazing people from all over the United States. Nick Saban, for all you college football guys, his personal lawyer was on that trip. The guy that founded, that marketed Famous Amos Cookies was on that trip. It was a phenomenal trip, and the dinner on the Great Wall, I think, is probably my top experience in this world.
All right. So it was fantastic and beautiful. And we booked it through Departures magazine.
Yeah, Departure magazine.
Yeah. One of our favorite magazines.
I had seen Departure magazine has sent their monthly subscription, and they were saying that they were doing a 8-day excursion through China. And I told Alicia, this is where I'm going for my 40th. You kind of roll your eyes.
Yeah. This was because I didn't want to go to China. I'm like, I'm not going to China. There's no way I'm going to China.
This was a Saturday, Monday morning, 8 o'clock. I called the phone number on the ad, and they says, yes, we're booking. And I says, how much? They gave me a price. I says, book it. And that was it. It actually sold out within 6 hours. She told me there was 24 people on.
Do you want to tell everybody how much that trip cost you?
It was about $50K.
Wow. All right. The cheapest trip we've ever taken.
Well, I'm not going to talk about the cheapest trip in the United States because that's, it doesn't cost much to travel in the States.
I was going to say going to Fredericksburg is probably the cheapest we've ever done.
The cheapest international trip was India. India overall is very cheap.
Yes. And we stayed at the top hotels for almost nothing. I guess incredible.
5-6-star hotels for $250 a night. We had a personal tour guide out there. His name was Sunny. He took us all over that New Delhi area, Taj Mahal, Agra. He spent a week with us out there, and it was almost pennies on the dollar to what we paid in the past. India and Egypt are two of the least expensive places that you can travel to and see a lot of history and have an amazing experience out there.
Fabulous. Yeah. I would go back.
Yes. India is
most definitely go back to India.
India is highly underrated.
And remember, you dragged me on a plane to get on that one.
And now you didn't want to go to India because most people have an impression. It's million people. It's 99% poverty. It's very poor. It's extremely populated.
But the magic of India is extraordinary. Yes. There's a magic to it that you can't describe. You cannot tell somebody how it feels.
Because everybody for $1 a day is happy.
Yeah, there's a contentment. There's a sense of liberation. I don't know what you call it. I'm not sure.
The Taj Mahal is a surreal place. It's more surreal than what you see in the magazines or on TV. Standing by the Taj Mahal, putting your hand on the Taj itself, the history behind the Mughal emperor at that time and what he did for his third wife. And, that's her tomb. And it's just the architecture behind it. And then you have so much poverty around. It's amazing. It's like a yin and yang kind of coming together.
What is your favorite dish? Okay, question 14. What is your favorite dish from around the world? I would say my favorite food from around the world has been the food of Georgia. Yes. And I only had that because the food was so bad in Russia that someone recommended, there's one waiter that recommended, you need to go eat at restaurants from the country Georgia. And I think
not the state Georgia.
No, the country Georgia. It was so good. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by SNR Creative. Are you putting your money towards visibility but not seeing any change or business growth? Well, that is the problem. SNR Creative is a boutique marketing and business development firm in Houston that specializes in turning your ideas into reality in the most creative way possible. From social media management to website development, graphic design to event management, this full service creative team does it all. The world can't go on without your services, so let's make sure everybody knows your name. You're either fascinating or forgotten. What will you choose? Get ahead and above the competition by contacting SNR Creative with the link in my bio. Mention Vibes by Alicia and receive a free business consultation. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by SheSpace. Hey, you. Yes, you. Badass, hardworking boss. If you're tired of cliche spaces, of the regular and unimpressive, you want to add a little bit of spice to the shared co working experience, I have just the place. SheSpace is the hub for bold women. It's the queen's throne away from home. I firmly believe in the proximity principle, which refers to the intention of surrounding yourself with the people who embody your ambitions to achieve them. Find that proximity and experience the dream job life here at SheSpace. With membership, you'll have access to a multitude of amenities, a robust calendar of events, and overall a group of like-minded women. So what are you waiting for? Come and see us at SheSpace. Vibes by Alicia Season 5 is sponsored by Finest Blood. Finest Blood provides patients and partners in clinics with service at its finest. Avoid mixed diagnosis in unprecedented times and commit to laboratory services in the finest way. Whether you are participating in mobile or in-lab services, we will provide you with the finest care and make sure your satisfaction is met. No more waiting long hours in clinics. No more waiting long hours for results. No more leaving the comfort of your own home, if that's what you choose. At Finest Blood, our system is designed to alleviate the challenges of accessibility and timeliness of lab work while providing exceptional customer care. We provide you with the best care in anything that we do. Come and see us or follow us at finestbloodllc.com. I couldn't get enough of it. Remember, they gave us like this platter of meats and cheeses. Yes. I don't know what kind of cheese it was. I don't know what kind of meat. Oh,
but just the seasoning, the preparation.
The seasoning, the preparation, the taste, the presentation, everything was just top notch. And another place that I would say where the food was just India too, but Turkey. Right. Yeah, and getting up every day, looking forward to my breakfast. I don't know what they're called. They're like little pastries that they have. They're similar to bagels. They're similar to the pretzels, but they're not. They're different. Oh my gosh, just looking forward to that every single day in Turkey and just looking forward to eating every single day in Turkey. I don't know what it was about their food. It was just tasty, delicious, fresh. I mean, everybody assumes it's France or Italy, but for me, it was definitely the Turkish food.
Absolutely, I agree. On all three fronts, Turkish, Indian, and Georgian food in Moscow.
What's the scariest thing that happened to you while traveling? I think taking that ice trip in Idaho, getting to Jackson Hole was pretty scary.
Yes,
because we were literally on the mountain, snowing, icy. Yeah, it was not good. It was not fun. It was scary, very scary.
Well, we were flying to Jackson Hole. We had to make a plane change to Salt Lake City. Our flight from Salt Lake to Jackson Hole was canceled. So, and there was no rescheduling for the next day or two. So we had to rent a car from Salt Lake and drive to Jackson Hole in the middle of the winter. And it was a 5-hour drive, and it was ice on the road. It was snowing. We couldn't see. We had to go through Idaho. We had to go through what they call Victor's Pass in the Rocky Mountains. And, it's a lot of switchbacking the mountains. And, people from Texas and Houston were not really used to it or accustomed. We don't have a lot of experience in driving through those conditions. So We were kind of all on edge. It was kind of quiet in the car, but we made it. But it was definitely probably, I would say, a very scary experience.
Super scary.
But I'm really not scared of anything. I just got to throw it out there.
Motto.
People ask me, is it scary driving in Mexico?
No, it's not scary. It's not scary.
Texas, I'm going to piss off a lot of people saying Texas is the most dangerous place.
It is. It is. We've been everywhere, and yes. Texas is definitely scarier.
First of all, there's no guns anywhere else in the world
except
in Texas.
No. Japan was super safe.
I mean, everywhere.
Love Japan.
We've been to the Middle East. We've been to.
Been to Mexico, been to Central America, been to South America.
Has a gun in their pocket is reassuring. Here in Texas, you look at the wrong person at the wrong time. They'll follow you to the house, and before you know it, they're starting shooting.
And we've been to Tijuana, we've been to Juarez, we've been to all those places where everybody's like, no, don't go. You go, and they're fine. Yeah, live here. Yeah, it's different. Okay, for me, this is a good question. Question 16. What's the best Instagram photo you've ever taken on vacation? For me, my favorite Instagram photos are the ones I took in Cuba. Why? Because number one, I never thought I would be in Cuba. That was always a dream to be in Cuba, but there was always so many roadblocks to get into Cuba. But once I was there, oh my God, it was an experience I would definitely go back to. Amazing. And so the photos that I take there to me are very indicative of the rebirth of the Cuban country. Beautiful country. All right. How much of your finances do you set aside for travel?
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah, I agree. We've always said that from the very beginning. All of our finances would go for that.
We live way below our means. We're not into the bigger houses, the bigger cars. I do have a nice car now, but it was like 20 years before I decided to get one. We always were very humble and lived way below.
Always.
Yeah. So all our money is to experiences because material is short-lived. It's the law of diminishing return that they teach you in economics class. You like something for a little while and then it kind of grows on you. The great thing about traveling is that you always get to go somewhere else and learn and get a different experience.
Exactly.
And the experiences are mental, and no one can ever take that away.
They're priceless. They'll never go away. They'll never disappear. Yeah, and I always remember growing up and my parents not having much, but they always put money aside for travel. So for me, it's always been. That's what I was going to put money aside for. It was going to be travel. It wasn't going to be for things. It wasn't going to be for clothes. It wasn't going to be for new cars or houses. It was always going to be for travel. And I think that was a decision we made together very early on in our marriage. And we stuck with it forever. And people always ask us, like, how do you travel? How do you get to go to all those places? When you really prioritize what you spend your money on, there is money out there for that, for sure. Do you have friends from around the world? We do have friends from. Yes. We've made really good friends with our tour guides, for sure. Guides, we still stay in touch with them.
We've had maybe nearly 100 tour guides in 21 years of traveling. I think I stayed in touch with maybe 25% of them, and they give us kind of the downloads, the updates.
Yeah.
And besides that, it's just back and forth communication. If you guys ever need any recommendations on tour guides out there,
yes. We have really good recommendations for everybody.
Let us know. We'll be glad to
absolutely
share that.
Who is the most interesting person you've ever met on your travels? In China, we met a lot of really great, interesting people.
The group and the Chinese group was, I think, some of the most interesting people because they all came from different experiences. A lot of them were business men and women. There was a mother and some daughters. They were on that trip. They were friends with the owners of the Lakers, and just learning to experience. They were getting one of the daughters had lost her son recently, and she was depressed. It was kind of a interesting story listening to her. They were very humble considering the amount of wealth that they had. I had mentioned earlier Nick Saban's personal lawyer was on the trip, and he was a struggling Democrat in a land of Republicans, and they were giving him a hard time on the trip because most of them were conservatives on the trip. And I remember they busted.
Which is interesting. A lot of conservatives were traveling to Asia.
Yeah, right.
That's so uncommon.
There was this couple there on the trip that.
God forbid you go to a communist country.
She was drinking on the trip, and her experiences in her life. They were from North Carolina, I remember. I mean, it was
an amazing place, and the people there were fascinating.
They were all well-traveled people. And they had all experiences, and we all were always to dinner. We always kind of traded our experiences, and it was fascinating.
It was one of those. that you will never
We've
forget.
come across celebrities here and there, but the folks on that trip to China were more.
Yeah, celebrities are never as exciting.
They don't want to talk to you.
No. All right. What is the most beautiful animal you have ever seen? We're in travel number 20. What is the most beautiful animal you have ever seen? I think we just got back from a South African safari trip, so we definitely saw some beautiful animals.
South Africa, just to say, the safari is definitely a bucket list. You need to go and see these animals in their nature, outside of a zoo, and how they interact. It is not dangerous. It is perfectly safe. They are scared of you as long as you don't obviously approach them. Keep to yourself. And it's definitely something you need to do. So a lot of people are going to probably say it must be the lion, it must be the elephant, it must be the rhino,
the usual,
right? But I'm gonna tell us. The most interesting animal to me personally was a hyena. And most people think the hyena, because it has a scavenger kind of perception.
I know, they're kind of very ugly and they make very predatory.
Sounds. But they walk with such a swagger, right? And,
I know.
And they have this. They're like big dogs with kind of like a lion's personality.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was really impressed. I had no idea what the hyenas could actually bring to the table in the wildlife. They're solitary creatures, but they attack in packs, which the lions are not. They're more family oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And elephants are obviously family oriented. They're majestic creatures. They're
gorgeous,
huge, they're gorgeous,
beautiful.
Extremely
but that hyena really took my breath away.
Yes.
It did.
Right. I was really impressed with the hyena.
And it's beautiful, but in the sense of not looking at it aesthetically beautiful, in its composition of its essence, in its persona, the way he comes across, the way he looks at you, and examines you, like they're examining you every time they come around. They examine you. They want to see who you are. I mean, they're calculating. Right. They're smart. I mean, there's so much of them. Of course, a lioness and the lions are just beautiful. And I mean, in terms of animal kingdom, of course, they're the king and queen
of lions and the warlords.
But that hyena comes around and you're like, oh my God.
Yes.
Watch out.
There's just something unique about the hyena.
Super unique.
Just the way they trot along the plains, the way they carry themselves. I don't know. I was really.
Yeah, there's a swagger.
I was enamored.
I love that. Yeah. What? Okay. Has a certain location ever taken your breath away? For me, it was the city of Shanghai.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with that.
It took my breath away, just arriving into Shanghai.
I agree. I don't think there's another city I can think of that I was thinking that it was going to be less than what I thought it was going to be, but when I got there, it almost looked like a 22nd century city with a lot of history from colonial times.
Yeah, it's like you're traveling into the future. What, maybe 500 years?
No, I wouldn't say 500. I'd say 50 to 75 years.
Amazing. I love it. Shanghai.
Just the urban planning.
It did. It took my breath away.
The architecture, the skyline, the proximity of the city to the ocean, the Bund River, and the French influence and the French architecture of the Bund River adjacent that butts up to the Chinese architecture, more cosmopolitan.
I know, and just driving through the city or just driving through the highways or the small cities, there's nothing that is not interesting.
Right. And there's nothing that's not thought out.
Yes, it's so thoughtful.
Makes sense.
Very thoughtful.
This exit is here. This freeway is here. These streets are here. It's back home. It's kind of like wherever it makes economic sense. To them, it's where it makes practical sense.
Another place I think I haven't talked about and we haven't talked about yet, but really made an impact in terms of how it looks, was Japan.
Yeah, and Japanese are very similar to the Chinese in urban.
And the city where it was very traditional, was it Osaka?
Yeah,
Kyoto. Yeah. I think that was breathtaking.
Definitely, I don't like going back to the same places twice.
But we need to go back. And we need to definitely go do that. Okay. What question are we on? Let's see. Question number 22. What do you consider the best museum in the world? We just talked about that museum, and it was
it was a museum in St. Petersburg.
It's St. Petersburg.
I think it rivals the Louvre in Paris, and I think it probably even maybe supersedes it.
And the one in Spain that we loved a lot too, and we thought was magnificent. Which one? Yeah. Yeah. Museo del Prado.
Well, maybe that's in Milan.
No, that's in Spain. Let's see. Where have you never been but have always wanted to go? I think New Zealand has always been my dream.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would Australia.
Where is the best hotel you have ever stayed at?
Ooh. Okay, so in terms of technology and convenience, I would say the Peninsula hotels in China, Beijing, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. There's no check-in. They literally greet you at the door with an iPad. You're somehow your bags just disappear and they reappear in your room. You turn around, you don't know what happened to them. You thought they were stolen. Before you know it, the bags are there before you check in, and they're checking you in on an iPad, literally going up the elevator. So think about it. Most connectivity doesn't work in the elevator, but sure worked out there. And by the time you got there, the elevator, you were checked into your room. The entire rooms were controlled by an iPad, the lighting. But in terms of probably bouginess, I would probably say the Four Seasons in Hue, which is in central Vietnam.
You know what? I think every time we stay at a Four Seasons, it always meets our expectations. Yeah. It never lets us down.
Because you like going to Punta Mita and the Four Seasons out there.
Why do you have to bring it back every time to Punta Mita? Because I always go, right? It's my favorite place. Sorry, not sorry. Okay. Next question. Where's the best hotel? Okay, we did. Where's the worst hotel? Question number 25. Where's the worst hotel you have ever stayed at?
The worst hotel was a complete bungled experience on the way back from the Dominican Republic. There was no connections. We had to stay a night in Miami. I thought I would make it interesting. And let's stay in South Beach. And man, the website and I mean, that's, I always say that the pictures in the hotels, you always have to take it down and off in your mind. Photographers do magic with the quality of the pictures they're able to take on the cameras. And the hotel in South Beach in Miami was a complete utter disaster.
Awful.
There was one bed for 4 of us.
Exactly.
I couldn't wait to get out the next morning.
We could have used the bathtub as a bed, but we were like, oh my gosh. No, we could have put the baby in that one, the little guy.
Nothing against South Beach or the
hotel. We just didn't stay in the right place.
It just was misrepresented on the website.
It was misrepresented. We didn't stay at the right place. Oh, yeah. And we've stayed in South Beach before, and it's been amazing. It's been lovely. But yeah, that place was awful. What do you love the most about traveling? Just meeting new people, learning new things, eating new food, and just walking outside your airport and feeling the air of the new place. Yes, right. There's a uniqueness to it.
Every time you go somewhere, and the more exotic you go, the farther you get away from Western culture. And I'm talking about that includes like Europe, Australia, not that I've been there, Australia, New Zealand, but all over Europe. For example, I remember living in Moscow, and I do speak, Czech, Slovak, and Russian is similar to that, but it just felt like you were in a different world.
Yeah, it is. Did you feel like you're going somewhere completely different? What do you like the least about traveling?
Nothing.
Question number 27. Okay. Jet lag. For me, it's jet lag.
For me, it's the late flights.
Hate it. Hate the jet lag.
The late flights.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to jump in that cockpit and just take over the plane and let's go.
Yeah, I think I hold my breath until the airplane goes off because I know you. I know you're going to be thinking this plane better take off.
There's always something.
All right. What's the most fearless thing you have ever done? I think the sky dinner in Dubai was probably the most fearless thing because we were so up high. We were having dinner in the sky, basically. This was for our son's 16th birthday.
I'm going to say the hot air balloon ride in Cappadocia in Turkey. But I was scared in the dinner in Dubai.
Yeah,
you were I think 150 feet in the air, and the whole table's kind of rocking.
It rocks with the wind, right? Yeah.
But also the hot air balloon because we got up to 1,500 feet, and everybody was chatting away on the hot air balloon. There was like 13 or 14 of us in that little basket. And that was okay around 500 feet. But once you got to 1,500 feet, everybody stopped talking. Everybody was quiet. And there was a photographer with one of those zoom lenses. He was taking pictures of everything. And then once he got there, he stopped taking pictures. And he had a zoom lens, obviously for that reason. To zoom in on something because he was going far.
That was,
Our younger son, Max, was on that plane, on that balloon. Mm-hmm. And he actually decided not to look over the basket. He just sat Indian style in the middle. He didn't want to.
He didn't want to know. It was scary. It was very scary.
I was trying to nudge the hot air balloon pilot. All right, let's go back down. Let's go back to 500 feet. We were good at 500.
I know, and you're not a fan of the heights.
I don't like heights.
Okay. The last question and the most important question is, why do you travel? Why? Why do you travel?
To learn, to grow as a person.
I travel to learn too. Yeah. To learn and to become a better person when I travel, because it brings, I learn so much every time I leave, and I come back a whole different person. And every time I see something new, I return to Houston a different person. Right. I'm changed. It changes you at a very sub level, very conscious level, at a very atomic level. It changes you.
Very on atomic level.
Yeah. Very. Yeah. And so many people travel to Cancun and go to Cabo. You guys need to get out. You guys need to go, or Vegas. Get out of those three places. It's always the same three. I see it all the time on Facebook, you guys. I see your photos, and I'm over here thinking, you have so much to see. You need to get the hell out of those places.
You can have a semi-Cancun and Cabo experience in Central America. I mean, you can go to Costa Rica and Oaxaca.
Yes.
You can go to
Panama.
You can go in Honduras to
Roatan. Gorgeous.
They're beach destinations, and they're culturally a little bit different because they're not Americanized like Cancun and Cabo. I mean, nothing wrong with those places. We've been there plenty of times too, but you still got the same beach thing going on where you get to go to a different country. It's the flights are only 3-4 hours. I mean,
go to Guatemala. Stay at a lake. Lago de Atitlan was beautiful. Find another place to go to, people, please. Right. Just stop going to Cancun.
In Vegas. You can go there too, but don't only go there.
Yes, of course. There's other places. So, all right. We answered 29 questions to ask those who are obsessed with travel and learn a few of their tricks. So I hope you learned a few of the things that we've encountered as we've traveled.
But I think those 29 questions, remind me, I think they were requested by listeners.
Yes, right? Yes. All of those questions were listener questions. Thank you for reminding me on that. Listener questions that wanted to know about us because they know we're obsessed with travel. They know that we've traveled a lot. We've gone all over the world. There's maybe one continent yet that we still need to, go to, and we're still young, so we still make it there one day.
But we're gonna go to that ice hotel first.
Yeah, and COVID has made it more difficult, but that doesn't mean it stopped us. It just made it a little bit harder. We don't like taking the tests, just like everybody doesn't like taking the test, but we do take the test because we do love to travel. And we got vaccinated. The minute the vaccine was available, we got vaccinated because we said, if this is a thing that's going to stop us from traveling, we're going to freaking do it. We're going to do it because nothing is stopping us. We're going to get out and we're going to go. Guys, if you want to hear anything more, ladies, if you want to know more about what's going on, let me know. Talk to me, DM me, send me a message. We love your reviews. We love to hear from you. I love hearing from you. Follow me at my podcast Instagram at Vibes by Alicia. You can follow me at my personal account at think_chick. You can also follow me at my store where I resell pieces at thinking_boutique. We love to share what we've known, we've encountered, we've traveled, we've done things, we're in business together. We're here for you and trying to share all the things that we can share with all of you. So thank you so much, Mr. Latasi, for being here today.
Well, thank you for throwing me under the booth again.
Under the booth?
In the booth.
In the booth. Thank you for the wine. The wine was fantastic. You always pick the best stuff. And you always know what to pick for me.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Cool. And so, guys, let us know. We want to know. We want to hear from you. Keep us posted. Love you all. You know what time it is.